Hello, this is Todd Green, Superintendent of Schools at Beaver River Central School, giving you another update on our COVID-19 situation that we have. On Wednesday, I sent out a video notification that identified some concerning areas that we had, in particular the quarantine numbers and the positive cases that we had in the past week. We were going to take a look at those situations and determine if there was transmission within the classroom. We've determined that looks like it was the case. In particular, we had a classroom with 4 positive cases that were unrelated to each other outside of school. Rather, it was just in school. So we've had some discussions here. The Board of Education over the summer put together and improved the plan that we talked about. But with that, we talked about being flexible and be able to adjust as needed. This video is really to discuss that adjustment. But before we get into that, first, I will follow up with a letter to specifically say the changes. But I wanted to first talk about the current data that we have. It is September 17th. It's about 2:45 in the afternoon. This is the information I have right now in terms of quarantine and positive cases. Currently, we have 85 quarantine students. 10 of those students are not school related, meaning they might have been precautionarily quarantined outside of school due to a family positive situation, something along those lines. So that leaves us with 75 school related quarantines. The positive cases that we've had here in school are 8 positive cases. That includes our staff and students. So that kind of gives you a general idea of the numbers. We'll be posting our regular weekly update on our website later this evening. One data point that's important to understand and that has helped us decide what to do with our adjustment are the 22 classroom-related quarantine situations that those particular students, so 22 out of the 75, would not have been quarantined if we had a different protocol. And the difference in that protocol is basically the masking and the distancing within the classroom. So when we put our plan together, we responded to the community request and responded to what the CDC had recommended, and we came up with a plan that we thought was pretty good for our current situation. That plan was that students would wear their masks on the bus while moving around, basically all day. And when I say students, I really mean actually individuals, but I'm always thinking about students when we talk about this. So individuals will be wearing their masks throughout the day unless they're seated in a classroom and they're able to be 3 feet apart or more. If they're closer than 3 feet or if they're working around each other, they'd be putting their mask on in the classroom. That was the case with the 4 cases in the one classroom. So in response to that, we're adjusting to that. So what we're going to do is starting Monday, September 20th, is the masking policy will change so that students, all individuals in the building, will wear their mask throughout the day. The only time they may remove their mask is when they are socially distanced. And we're going to define socially distanced as 6 feet away. So throughout this week, we've been removing furniture that we normally use in a classroom. And by removing that, we have been able to make some more spaces in some various classrooms, but not all classrooms we were able to do that. So there are classrooms where students are able to sit 6 feet apart. There are classrooms where they're not able to sit 6 feet apart. So our goal was to try to maximize that. We'll continue to see what we can do for that. But basically, starting Monday, and we're looking at this every 2 weeks, starting Monday, students will be wearing their masks. Individuals will be wearing their masks throughout the entire day, unless they're able to be 6 feet apart or more. And that is indoors. Outdoors, there's no requirement for masking, so indoors. In addition, because we're seeing the quarantine cases rise, we have some positive cases, we're adding a few other pieces to this, one of which is temperature screening. Got a good response after my video on Wednesday from some parents that said, why don't we re-implement that? And we decided to do that. So basically, temperature screening will be done in 2 major locations. One will be when students get on the bus, as we did last year. They'll be able to scan their temperature. temperature. And if students are dropped off by our elementary gym, when they enter, they'll have their temperature screened as well. If their temperature is 99 or below, everything is fine. Come into school. If the temperature is between 99 and 100, they'll be reevaluated by the nurse. And then anything above 100, they'll be sent home. So parents, remember, just check your children before they leave. Make sure that their temperatures are below that 90. And basically, the 99 is good. We would check them again if it's up to 100. The last change we're talking about, so there's really three changes. One is the masking, two is the temperature, and three, we're looking at our cafeteria space. This would be something that will be a rolling change. We're trying to reduce the number of students in the cafeteria. Our goal was, we know that's a very social area. Our goal was to be able to have as many students in the cafeteria, to be able to have that time as part of each other. But we know that's a very there's a place where students are interacting tremendously, and tracing is very difficult. So we're trying to reduce the amount of space. So we're adjusting some times for when students eat to create spaces, but also potential locations. And we'll be adjusting that as it goes. Particularly, probably we'll start a little bit with breakfast in the elementary on Monday, and then throughout the week we've got to do some adjustments, maybe add some more staff in some areas to make that work. So we'll be working that throughout the week. So basically, three changes. One is the cafeteria. That will be a rolling change as we go. Number two is a temperature screening that will begin Monday. And number three is the masking change. So just to reiterate, basically all individuals in school will be wearing masks at all times unless they can socially distance, and we're defining socially distance as 6 feet apart. We will be looking at this over the next 2 weeks, determine if there's any other changes we need to do, and just to. Hopefully this is increasing the protocols enough so that we do not see transmission within the school district. I appreciate the patience with this. Hope you understood that the reasons why is really twofold. One is to reduce transmission, but as well to reduce quarantining. If students are not in school, they can't learn as well. So one case is we're talking about removing some furniture where we do some learning activities. We will reduce some of those learning activities, but the students will be in school more often if we can reduce the quarantine. So that's why we're able to create that space, again, at least to get to 6 feet. So again, thank you for your support. We're continuing to monitor, and we'll keep your children safe so that we can have every student in school every day. Thank you. Have a great night.